Good afternoon. Okay, a lot of information getting put out here. I'm Lieutenant Commander Joe Klapozeski. I'm the OIC for PSD Rota. And before I go into my brief, it's only 11 slides, it's not a lot or inundating. I'll just talk a little bit about myself and my experience in the Navy. LDO, prior chief, 12 years. Been stationed a lot of places. Philippines, Guam, Japan 3 times, Singapore, and Spain. And let me tell you, going to Spain with the family, easiest transition that you're going to make, bar none. You know, the first thing I think of is when we first got here, they're driving on the right side of the road. I mean, that's number one, right? When I got to Japan, I remember, you know, trying to take my driver's test sitting on the opposite side with 3 on the tree. You know, it's a little bit difficult. So just out the gate, going to somewhere where you're familiar driving is great. Mr. Chris, Bob Chris put out a lot of good information to you guys. Let me tell you what, the housing office and PSD here work awesome together. And because of such, you guys' entitlements and your pay are probably a lot more accurate and timely. Whereas like in other installations, I've been to San Diego, it takes a little while, especially now since we shifted from that where the ships and squadrons could do their own pay documents to this PSD afloat concept where basically your PS is on the ship, send us all the documents. They're kind of like the middleman now, and then we process everything in what they call the factory ashore. So, but it works very well. I can tell you from my experience, I lived a year on the base and 22 months off the base. So I got to see both sides of Spain. Our base was great. Everything they said was true about it. It's very convenient. It's a 6-minute ride to work, no traffic, 1 light. Nothing like getting stuck in the HRBT, you know, sweating bullets in an hour's worth of traffic. It'll be 180 from that environment. And then we live out in Puerto now. You know, it's all about the family. Mom wanted to be near the beach. Okay, you can do that. Got a pool, got a nice house. So we were able to take care of family first, and you guys should be able to do the same thing as well. And like Bob said, there's lots of houses. I mean, we looked at like 50 houses. I mean, it's almost like, which one do you want to move into? I mean, there's a beach everywhere you go. You can walk. Very, very easy transition for the families. So don't be scared about it. You know, even if you can't speak Spanish, my wife, first year, I think, she spoke a little, and by a year, she took classes on base through Clemente and Fleet and Family for free. They have a university out there that teaches as well, and now she speaks really well. I mean, after taking it for a year. So between the beach, the swimming pool, you know, while I'm at work, she's busy going places. I don't know if they told you about there's trips that they have every week that Fleet and Family takes you in different places in, you know, historical sites in Spain, and they're free. So I mean, she would just jump on the bus and take the kids and go and do her thing and come back and tell me what a wonderful day she had while I was at work taking care of issues. So we'll start the brief here. This is my team here, and this is, like we showed you before, Building 1. That's the main building. That's MWR and Navy Federals right over here. This building, 1B, is PSD right next door, so we're kind of all centrally located right there. Okay, just your standard outline there. I'll go through the function, our services, and just kind of talk a little bit about what we do. Not a lot different than PSD Norfolk, but the attitude and service, I guarantee you, that you're going to get out in Spain is 180. Is going to be a whole lot better. You'll see. And I won't read all this stuff to you right here. This is basically the PAS system. We're PSDs, and for most of you have been in the Navy for a long time. Individual units spread throughout the world to support you guys, pay and personnel services. Basically, we make sure that your service records are up to date, and we make sure you get paid the entitlements you're entitled to, which I think are 2 of the most important things, because 1, you need money to pay bills and keep the family happy, and 2, you want to advance your career so you stay in the Navy. Norfolk, I think a lot of places they do it at the Navy College. Navy College, of course, like the rest of us, we're running out of money, running out of resources, so they could not hire somebody. We took on that additional responsibility, and we can provide it for you, the service. Process your pay claims and your allowances and your travel. That's just your standard stuff. Like Bob said, when you first check on board and you get a house, it's a little complex, but it's not that bad. You'll need to pay the first month's rent, and you'll need a deposit to put down. We'll be able to do that for you. We have a couple of forms you fill out, and basically you pay that back over a certain period of time. I took 1 month advance pay, and then for my advanced housing and my deposit. And then I'm paying it back over 2 years, and it's like $200 or something like that. But you actually get that money in the end, because what happens is, you pay for your rent for the following month, so it all equals out. You'll get that. It's kind of like a savings account with no interest. You'll get back that deposit, and you'll get back also the first month's rent in the end when you leave. Big thing: tourist and official no-fee passports. Service members, you guys don't have to have one. You don't have to have a passport to come over. Your ID card is good. Dependents, you have to have one. Okay, now there's a little caveat there. If you don't have an official no-fee passport, but you have a tourist passport, that's fine. Just make sure you apply for one here, and then when you get over to Spain, we'll be able to get it for you. Okay? Or, if you apply for one here, and you show up with it, if you show up with a tourist passport, it's fine. The Spanish government's not going to. I've handed them both. They don't care which one you hand them. They stamp it and you move on. But it's when you don't show up with one is when you're going to have issues at it. And they're pretty inconsistent with that too. Sometimes they ask for it. If you come to the AMC terminal, they will ask for it. If you come in Madrid, I've seen both cases. We operate in euro over in Spain. So the U.S. dollar outside the gate, although valuable and people will take it at some places, some businesses, the majority of things is done in euro. We provide a euro service on the base, and I'll give you just a quick one. Because it is a Spanish base, we're not allowed to have a U.S. banking facility on the base. We have a Navy Federal Credit Union, but that's not a U.S. banking facility. So in essence, my cash cage is the U.S. banking facility. So what we do is, in cooperation with the CO, we sell euro to the sailors and civilians out there, and we give you the same rate that you would get if you were at, say, Naples, a U.S. installation, SIG, or somewhere that has a Bank of America or a community bank at that rate. So, which is usually a little higher. We have a Bank of Popular on base. They're a little bit, obviously, they're trying to make money, and the Navy Exchange also does it as well, but it's really insignificant unless you're paying your rent. If you're paying your rent, you can make, if you exchange with us, you can probably make an extra $80 or $100 out of the transaction, which is a big deal because obviously that pays for a couple tanks of gas, so maybe some groceries. So you want to do that. So you'll see in your paydays our lines are pretty long, but it's worth the wait to get the extra cash. Okay. If you live in the barracks, you'll get a ration card. Now I know if you're living on board the ship, you'll be eating on the ship. And but for some reason, I don't know if we have set that up or not for the galley, but we do issue ration cards as well too, so you can go back and forth to the galley. Simple things: we reset your MyPay password, station allowances. And it will also be at the briefs, like the ICR brief where Clemente is. I'll have a representative over there that talks about PSD stuff. So you'll get a lot of this stuff again. So don't worry about trying to retain it all in one day. It's a lot of information to put out. Just a quick customer base for who we serve. We serve around 90 commands, and they're not all in Rota. Some in Portugal, a lot in the UK. We used to have a PSD up there before, but we consolidated it. And then I put your numbers down there as well too with the military folks, and it adds up. But the good thing is we're getting an additional 12 people in PSD to support you guys coming over, so that's a good thing. Just a quick flow chart there. Don't worry about these numbers. If you looked in the welcome aboard packet or our online site there, the numbers should be in there as well. We also have a Facebook page, and I'll tell you about the Facebook page. I run the Facebook page, so no, you're not going to get Seaman Jones answering your question. If you have a question, go out there, type it in, ask me. I'll look up the response brief. I don't know it off the top of my head, and I'll send you a response back. So it's, you know, you're getting it from me. The appointment scheduler's on there. Don't worry about that as well. If you've done it before, it's easy. You can type all these things in Google. We also put out a newsletter every quarter, and I try to put information in there that pertains to you guys and in Rota, you know, in our AOR. Big Navy stuff as well, too, but really, if your entitlements and things like that change, because the COLA rate changes, and the Euro rate changes, and things like that, so you want to stay on top of that so you can make the right decisions on how you're going to spend your money, or maybe how you're not going to spend your money. I got some numbers real quick here that I put down. Just a swag of things. If you're drawing overseas housing allowance, which is what you draw over in Rota, not Bob, for an E5 single, average, it's around $2,500 US dollars. If you're married, around $2,800. If you're an E7 single, average is around $2,900 for single. And if you're married, E7, it's around $3,100. This is a month. And then if you're an O2, the 10JG, if you're single, it's around $2,300 US dollars, and it's around $2,700 if you're married. And that's all in US dollars, and I give it to you because your LDS will consolidate your housing allowance, and you get a utility allowance as well, wrapped up in that. And my folks that work at the PSD, depending upon where you live, if you live in an apartment and you don't blast the AC and the electric all year round, then you actually will make a little money off the deal, right? You can't make any money off of your OHA because it is dollar for dollar, whatever your rent is, but you get a flat utility allowance, which is probably around $700 a month, you know, and then we get our bills every 2 months. So, and my electric bill's around $230 every 2 months. So you start doing the math, water's a little cheaper. You can actually do pretty good on that. That plus your COLA, you do okay. Okay, I'll finish up with the 3 things that I talked about. The overseas screening, make sure you guys do that. That's important because that starts everything out right. Your passports for dependents, and if you have any questions on that, please, I have a table back there, Officer Barnes is back here. We have a computer set up, we can type it, you can ask him any kind of question. There's no dumb questions. I've been doing this for a long time, but still, I still come up with people to go, what about this scenario? And I go, wow, I never thought about that. If I don't know it, I'll look it up. If I'm not sure about it, I'll go to BPERS and I'll go to the people that actually inspect my programs and ask them what the right response is for that. And for you, I always tell the enlisted sailors, because we do the advancement exams as well, study. It's a good incentive to make E5, because I'll tell you what, it's a different quality of life to live out in town. I just had one of my sailors get frocked here shortly. She made E5. She was so happy to move out in town, and it changed everything for her. She's really enjoying Rota and really enjoying her time there. So please feel free to ask questions, and you guys are going to love it. Trust me, it's not going to be, if you think it's going to be bad, it's not. It's going to be a piece of cake. So thank you very much.